Yeah, my name's Tom. I go by Tom Foolery. I think Politically Provoked has wanted us to talk for a while. I think they're going to set that up at some point.
Good.
Wanted to start by telling you I really enjoyed your conversation with Rob Noor. I agreed with almost everything that you had to say. I was a really big fan for a long time when I was younger. I'm more of a neocon Biden voter now, but um,
Interesting.
I've had a lot of debates with the dissident right. And something that blows my mind as somebody who identifies as a right winger is that they all seem to be like very anti like free speech. And you kind of just touched on this a second ago, especially like Groypers. Like they all seem to be like anti free speech, make it illegal to curse the Bible or things like that. I'm a Christian. I would be completely against making it illegal to like say things against the Bible or get rid of freedom of speech or freedoms in
Okay.
general. I want to know what is your opinion on Groypers and people in general like that, the dissident right kind of moving in that direction.
Well, I'm not sure they have as coherent a perspective on it as you're making it. I mean, I would say that the Groypers are generally speaking pro free speech and they're certainly anti deplatforming and so on. Now, they also make kind of contradictory statements, about banning pornography or maybe banning cursing of the Bible or so on. And you kind of see the same move with a lot of the people who aren't like Groypers, like you'll with like Mike Lindell. He wanted to create a free speech platform, and then and I don't know if Frank has really gotten off the ground, but when he creates the platform, he basically says, "Oh, and also you can't use curse words." So he's all, which is fine. I mean, that doesn't really offend me, but it's like you are therefore creating a free speech platform, and obviously, like Getter is censoring people. Gab does censor people. Gab seems to both claim that they are, and that is a kind of pro Groyper, platform if there ever was one, and they kind of play it both ways, claiming that they're Christians. I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, you can authentically say that you're a Christian and that you're for free speech, but that has not been the position of most Christians
Yeah,
throughout history.
well,
I mean, the
that's
vast majority of Christians believe that there is a limited domain of free speech, but you burn the heretics and you can't defame the Bible and so on. I mean, there is a concept of heresy that is, there are limits to these things, and it actually is bad to say them. It's not just like, oh, the answer to bad speech is more speech. No, the answer to bad speech is to end it.
yeah. I I agree with most of what you're saying. I debated a Groyper like the other day, Wurzel something, who straight up said like he would be against freedom of speech. And it's kind
Uh-huh.
of like my issue is the consistency where some of them might say they're for freedom of speech, but it's more about like what's convenient for them in the moment. So if they're getting banned off Twitter in that moment, yeah, they want freedom of speech, though like I don't think freedom of speech is between you and a business owner. It's between you and the
Right.
government. But anyways, like they claim freedom of speech when it's something like Twitter or Facebook, but then when it comes to religious beliefs, they're all this very anti freedom of speech, and I have trouble like even calling them. I don't know. Maybe I'm just crazy. I have trouble even calling them right wingers at that point. Once they start like becoming anti like Constitution or anti like they say they're America first, but are like against like the most American values you could imagine, like a lot of liberal Enlightenment ideas. Like I feel like they're almost antithetical to being patriotic or American.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think also I actually Irving Kristol said this, and I agree with it, which is that if you believe that there are good books, then you inherently believe that there are bad books, and that there is something, I don't know, there is something kind of inherently toxic about saying something, and so I don't know. I mean, I probably fall into that camp. I think what you're noticing among the Groyper is like inconsistency, which is fair enough. I do think that Groypers are a fascinating phenomenon in the sense of what in terms of what you're getting at. Like they are both like hyper patriots of America, but then in a other way, like when they do express themselves ideologically, they're almost like other or non-American. They're Catholic. I mean, this is a Protestant country, you know, unquestionably. But you know, they all like LARP as Roman Catholics, and they do kind of like embrace a certain kind of oppressive quality. You know, where we're gonna get women in line and bring back all these traditions or something. They're hyper American and flag wavers. Yet on the other hand, they are actually, as you correctly point out, they're almost anti-American on some level. I think it's. I mean, I you can point out their inconsistencies if you'd like, but I mean, I'm kind of fascinated by this phenomenon of these young people who are deeply alienated and kind of desperate in some way. I think it's a fascinating phenomenon.
Well, I mean, points to Wurzel, the guy straight up admitted that he would be anti-free speech, so I suppose he's consistent there. But I appreciate your time. I hopefully we can speak in the future. I'd really like to talk to you more about like
Sure.
the right wing and kind of like how people are somehow identifying with the Republican Party as right wingers and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Sure. Yeah, we'll do it.